So the Texans released J.J. Watt, and it wasn't like a J.J. It was J.J. Watt's been saying for a minute now he wants to. Well, this year been saying that he wants to leave. We know the turmoil that's going on with Houston, all the Houston sports, the Astros, the Rockets, and the Texans. We know the turmoil that's going on, and J.J. Watt is just the latest of stars leaving or getting out of Houston. Now, first let's talk about who is J.J. Watt right now. J.J. Watt was on a trajectory to be one of the best defensive players we've ever seen. Like, he was that good. J.J. Watt, there was kind of like how Aaron Donald is right now. He was one of those players that we didn't have to question who was the best defensive player in the league because it was J.J. Watt. It was always going to be J.J. Watt. That's just how good he was. The way that he played, the aggressiveness, the determination to be great, J.J. Watt's been that good. Or he was that good. Again, there was a huge argument as how good is J.J. Watt, and he was on a trajectory to be in that Lawrence Taylor class of some of the greatest we've ever seen play the defense. However, injuries hit that man hard, man. From leg injuries to bicep injuries to injuries have hit J.J. Watt hard. And that kind of brings me back to brings me to here. Now, J.J. Watt is still one of the best. Let me say this. J.J. Watt is still a really good defensive player. And when healthy, J.J. Watt is still a higher energy player and can definitely help a team win. Now, J.J. Watt, again, is not the player that he used to be. And his prime is definitely behind him. And injuries definitely robbed him of a couple prime years. But the Texans, people are asking, why did the Texans release him but keep Deshaun Watson? Because they know Deshaun Watson is top 5 in his position. J.J. Watt is not. Deshaun Watson is still a franchise-changing player. He's still one of the best quarterbacks in the league. Hell, the Texans were horrible last year, and Deshaun Watson had one of the best statistical years ever last year. That's just how good Deshaun Watson is. It's easy to let go of J.J. Watt because the best years of J.J. Watt is definitely behind him. Now, J.J. Watt is kind of more of a fan favorite right now, as far as we know the philanthropy and all the great stuff he did in Houston. He's one of Houston's best athletes as far as ever in all of Houston. When we look at Houston sports, you look at Akeem Olajuwon, you look at James Harden, honestly, you look at T-Mac, and now you're going to, when you look at talk about football, you got J.J. Watt, Andre Johnson, DeAndre Hopkins, Deshaun Watson now. Those are some pillars when we talk about Houston and talk about how great they've been. Terry Porter's up there. Now, J.J. Watt is out. People aren't mad because it's like, oh man, you left a good player. You let a good player leave. No, they're mad because he's a fan favorite. But with that being said, where does J.J. Watt go? I'll give 3 teams again, like I did Andre Drummond. I'll give 3 teams. Green Bay. We know Green Bay needs consistency when it comes to stopping the run and getting to the quarterback. And at his best, and even some time last year, J.J. Watt was still really good at that. And I think that they'll just add, to Green Bay needs a lot of pieces as far as offensively, but they do also need some defensive pieces, and that's why I think J.J. Watt will definitely help. Another person would be Kansas City. I know the rich getting richer, it is what it is, but as we saw in the Super Bowl, Kansas City needs another defensive interior lineman because and I understand J.J. Watt's not that, and I know the position J.J. Watt plays. For the people that's coming at me for my for the people that hold on for the people that's coming at me and really killing me for my Aaron Darnold take. I messed up. I know he's a defensive end. I know he's not a linebacker. I know I messed up. My fault, guys. Jesus Christ. But with J.J. Watt, I think being in a system with that Kansas City has, especially defensively, I think that he'll thrive. Not to mention, one reason why they let J.J. Watt go is because they know he deserves a place to win. Like, he deserves a chance to win, and he knows, especially next year. And I think Texans know, too. Especially next year, they don't really have you're wasting his years because you don't have no type of avenue to win outside Deshaun Watson. And that's even turbulent if he's going to be there. So Kansas City, and of course Pittsburgh, that's the team we've been hearing about, joining his brother TJ Watt, his other brother who plays on the offensive side of the ball too. But yeah, we know that losing Bud Dupree to injury and probably he might get cut due to salary reasons. Bringing on a JJ Watt will definitely help improve the defense and help improve playing alongside his brother. So, I am interested to see where JJ Watt lands, and there are some teams. He's still a serviceable player, and he's still a good player at his best. It's just, I think it's time for him to get into the right system that can work for him. Because there were years when, again, he was on a trajectory to be one of the greatest defensive players ever, except for until injury hit. So.